The Chicago Bears are making major staff changes, not just at the top, but also interviewing completely new candidates, and they have released a lot of the people who were in the building. We'll talk about some of those moves that have been made and some of those moves that will be made coming up. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Dang it, I didn't beat it. Hey, so major news here. I don't know if it's major news, kind of expected news, but there was some question on who would be retained, who wouldn't from the previous staff. The Chicago Bears are going scorched earth on this previous coaching staff as an interim head coach, this is per Adam Johns, interim head coach Thomas Brown, interim OC and wide receivers coach Chris Beatty, offensive line coach Chris Morgan, quarterbacks coach Kerry Joseph, and defensive coordinator Eric Washington will not be retained. Now, this is of no surprise to me because especially when you started off with a guy like Chris Morgan. He's been here, I think 4 years for Chris Morgan, maybe 5 actually. But the conversation around Chris Morgan has always been, especially with the offensive line the Chicago Bears has had, that these offensive lines have not been good enough. Now, if you look at the PFF numbers, the Bears offensive line is fine. It's great. Nothing is wrong with it. Braxton Jones did not get sacked with his quarterback right there. Coleman Shelton didn't spend time on his back. Everything was kumbaya. The offensive line has been fine. But if you use your eyes, realistically speaking, the offensive line has been terrible, and it's been terrible for quite some time. And under the time of Chris Morgan being here, it has not improved realistically. You've swapped pieces out, but you haven't seen a difference in the pieces that come in. And that could be one of two things. One, it could be Ryan Poles' evaluation of a lot of these guys. And I think that that does play a major part in it. I think that he's held on to guys way too long at times. And the conversation on swapping out a guy like Lucas Patrick for a guy like Coleman Shelton, or swapping out, you did that season, but swapping out Lucas Patrick for a guy like Coleman Shelton, right? Like Cody Whitehair, who I was thinking of, for a guy like Ryan Bates. Like, those are things to me that put you in a dangerous situation on the offensive line, because I don't think that the talent is there for what you need. But if you take a look at, okay, the talent may not have been there, but what was your blocking scheme? How did you utilize these guys? When you see Braxton Jones out there on an island, are you giving him some chip help on that left side? When you throw Karan Amagaji out there in his first start ever, are you allowing a running back to come in there and chip? Are you doing any tight end chip? No, we're doing none of that. That's concerning. The game plans that Chris Morgan put together were not good. And so I think that this is a great move for the Bears to move on from Chris Morgan. I wish him nothing but the best. There's a lot of respect for Chris Morgan in this league. I just don't think that it worked out here. Maybe in another system with somebody else, it will work out better for him. Thomas Brown also being let go, the interim head coach. There was some speculation that he might have actually stuck around as the OC in a new Ben Johnson system, but Thomas Brown and Ben Johnson don't call the same kind of systems. The reason that you were trying to keep him there was to kind of have that relationship with Caleb already there, have that guy that's already in the building and understands kind of how Caleb ticks a little bit. I don't think you need that if you're a new coach coming in. I think that it would have been an asset for you, I guess. It's not a detriment to you, but I don't think that Ben Johnson needs that. You see how Caleb Williams talks about the new head coach yesterday. I mean, he's ready to get to work. He's excited. He's clamoring. And remember, before Thomas Brown had become the head coach, I think this really went under talked about. He was the quarterback's coach, and he said he barely talked to Caleb Williams. I think that dynamic needs to be different as well. Now, that's the dynamic that Shane Waldron set, that Matt Eberflus set. That has nothing to do with Thomas Brown there. But I just think that those are some of the things where I'm fine with you moving on from Thomas Brown. I love the fact that he got the head coaching experience this season. I hope that works out for him to finally get a head coaching job where he can implement the things he wants to implement moving forward. Let me know how you guys feel about Thomas Brown being released. I feel like that's kind of the real question mark there. that a lot of people are going to like have some pushback on, saying, you know, that's the guy I would have wanted to keep. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments below. Also hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. Kerry Joseph being released, no surprise there. Chris Beatty is an interesting one because I really liked Chris Beatty. Now, maybe it's just me getting an opportunity to talk with him, but Chris Beatty was somebody who you could tell the knowledge was there. You could tell he's got a long future in this NFL. He would have been one that I would have thought might have been able to stay on the staff because of being the OC, being the wide receivers coach. But again, you didn't have a lot of success here. Eric Washington is no question mark either, especially when he took over as the DC for play calling duties. I mean, the defense clearly got worse. There was no question that you weren't going to retain Eric Washington moving forward here. And I think what's interesting about this is we got the report yesterday that the Bears are continuing to look at DCs, and Dennis Allen has been the name that has been at the top of this list. Dennis Allen has been the name that most people believe the Bears are going to go out there and get. But a new name coming onto the scene last night from Ian Rappaport that the Bears have requested Rams assistant head coach and passing game coordinator Aubrey Pleasant to interview for their vacant DC job under Ben Johnson. Sources said a key reason Chris Shula's defense impressed so much late this season. Now, I know a lot of people look at that, and we talked about this last night on the show, and say, well, why the heck would you be interviewing the passing game coordinator and assistant head coach? Well, he also spent a lot of time on the defensive side of the ball as well. He's been a DB's coach in this NFL. He's somebody who I think is an interesting name at that DC position. I don't know if you end up going out there and actually getting him, but he's somebody that I think you could keep an eye on there. The one thing I didn't know, and I was made aware of this, is that the Rooney Rule now applies. I guess this season was the change for this. The Rooney Rule now applies for offensive coordinator positions as well. From what I'm seeing, you don't have to bring them in person. You can have a Zoom interview. So we'll kind of see how this ends up playing out. I believe that the prize is still Dennis Allen, but I like the fact that Aubrey Pleasant is getting his name on the map, and I think that he would be a great addition to a Chicago Bears coaching staff because of not only very similar to Thomas Brown, right? That assistant head coaching experience, having that DB coach experience, also having a passing game coordinator experience. Don't be surprised if he's a name that we see pop up later on in this coaching process when you're filling out some of the actual position coaches for this team. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I got to run because I got another show to do in like 5 minutes. So I got to get this edited and get it up to you. Thank you guys for always showing love and support, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love. Peace.